I'm Rossum. I'm the Delaware Riverkeeper and leader of the Delaware Riverkeeper Network. And I want to be clear, this is not just a script that has been handed to people to feed the lines that they should say. That's a very disparaging description of what's happening here today. This is a community comment that has been written by the community, with the community, and for the community, so that we can ensure a comprehensive delivery of thoughts, ideas, data, and information to you, the commissioners, so we can ensure that we avoid repetition that is not necessarily helpful to you in presenting a full case when it comes to the message we're trying to deliver today. And we decided to create collaboratively a community comment so we can also provide absolute clarity to our message. So I would ask you to please be respectful and recognize that when people come up here and speak from this collaborative community comment, they are in fact speaking their words, our words, the community's words that have been developed together.
I'm always respectful. I respect your comments, and like we call community comments.
We're not calling them community comments. These are community comments. Yes. Many of us here today are representing individuals, organizations, communities, and businesses across our watershed that are concerned about the PennEast pipeline and the irreparable harm its construction would inflict on our watershed, our communities, and on our world. There are many steps that the DRBC has taken with regards to the PennEast pipeline that are important, precedent-setting, and demonstrate important leadership. But we are concerned that the DRBC has continued to leave the PennEast application open for over 3.5 years, in fact for 3 years and 10 months, despite evidence on the record and recent events that make clear it is time for the DRBC to reject the PennEast pipeline and close the application. Yes. Close the pipeline. And so we come before you today as a community to ask you to formally, officially, and immediately reject the PennEast pipeline project and thereby close the file on this wrong-headed project, pipeline, and proposal. We will now go through our comments, our collaboratively crafted community comments, point by point, so our comment is easy for all to follow.
Thank you. Ms. Carluccio, if you give up responding.
Point 1. Delaware River Basin Commissioners, we thank you for your leadership in urging FERC to amend its approval of the PennEast pipeline project to prohibit any tree felling for FERC-approved pipelines, including PennEast, within the boundaries of the Delaware River Basin in the absence of DRBC or needed state approvals. You said the premature felling of trees before all federal and state approvals are issued for frac gas pipelines like PennEast could result in water resource impacts that could go unmitigated unless and until such projects are actually built. End quote. Your leadership and persistence on this issue is vitally important, not just for the PennEast pipeline, but for all future pipeline proposals in the watershed. As far as we are aware, FERC has failed to respond to your request on this front. If that is correct, we urge you to press them again on this important matter.
Thank you.
We thank you again for separating your review and comment process from that of FERC. Your process, priorities, regulations, and goals are entirely different, and so separation is not only appropriate, it is critical. We thank you for confirming that DRBC intends to subject the entire PennEast pipeline, including the mainline route, compressor station, additional mainline valves, and appurtenances to its review, and that you have made clear to PennEast and the public that this means you'll be exercising review, jurisdiction, and the mandate for a DRBC docket that applies to the entire right-of-way and footprint of each of these elements of the project, and then you will not limit your review jurisdiction or authority simply to segments of this project.
In addition to our joint community testimony that we're reading here today, we're also delivering a letter signed by 95 organizations and a petition with over 3,000 signatures, calling on the commissioners to reject the PennEast pipeline project and close the file. The actions you take and the decisions you make regarding the PennEast pipeline, including but not limited to the extent of your jurisdiction authority and how you exercise your authority, how you interpret it and apply the DRBC compact and regulations, the public engagement process you file, your willingness to endlessly keep open an obviously flawed, deficient, and false permit application are setting a precedent for every other pipeline to follow. It's important that we set strong precedent and show that the DRBC will stand with the people and with the member states, particularly New Jersey and New York, who care about protecting our communities and future generations from the devastating water, forest, air, economics, climate impacts of frack gas pipelines, the fracking industry they serve. It's time for the DRBC to deny the docket of PennEast pipeline. You need to kick this thing out and do it now. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Bridget Brady. I'm here as a resident of the watershed from Bucks County and also representing the Delaware Riverkeeper network. It has been 3 years and 10 months since the PennEast Pipeline Company filed its application with the DRBC in February 2016. Since that time, PennEast has made significant route alterations. In addition, the state of New Jersey has denied PennEast access to over 40 parcels that are part of its proposed route. As a result, the proposed route before the DRBC is no longer accurate, and given New Jersey's denial of access to properties in which it has a property right, and the ruling of the courts upholding New Jersey's right to deny PennEast access to these parcels, the proposal in the DRBC application materials is no longer viable. It is time for DRBC to deny the docket to the PennEast pipeline.
Point 8. 42 of the 131 New Jersey properties that PennEast plans to condemn and cross are owned, at least in part, by the state of New Jersey or by various arms of the state. PennEast chose to target state-owned lands when determining the route it would follow. And PennEast chose to maintain its identified route despite being told by the state of New Jersey that would not grant the company authority to cut through the lands in which it had ownership interests. The Third Circuit decided in September that PennEast, as a private company, cannot, in fact, exercise eminent domain authority over state-owned land because of the state's sovereign immunity under the 11th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. This means that PennEast will now need to reroute much, if not all, of the 40 miles it planned to cut through New Jersey farmland, forests, wetlands, and waterways. As such, the DRBC application materials are not representative of a viable project. DRBC must support the right and decision of its member state, New Jersey, to say no to the PennEast pipeline. Leaving the door open to an already dead and New Jersey rejected project undermines the authority of the state of New Jersey and leaves the impacted people of our watershed hanging in an unnecessary limbo. It's time for DRBC to deny a docket to the PennEast pipeline. Thank you.
Hello, thank you for hearing us. I'm a landowner along the pipeline route who has seen many different endangered and threatened species on our property, and we have a farm with Christmas trees and fruit trees and hay that protects the watershed from runoff, and organic, no pesticides, no chemicals. On August 8, 2019, PennEast applied again to NJDEP for a freshwater wetlands individual permit, flood hazard area individual permit, and a water quality certificate for the portion of its proposed pipeline in New Jersey. PennEast's application to New Jersey was once again filled with deficiencies. For example, PennEast repeatedly ignores the state rules and assumes that a 50-foot protected buffer area is sufficient at regulated wetland and stream crossings which clearly require a 150-foot buffer. These crossings cut through documented and suitable habitat for threatened and endangered species that are already at peril. The difference between a 50-foot buffer and a 150-foot buffer is significant for water quality protection as well as the survival of these species, particularly aquatic species such as long-tailed salamanders, which we've seen, which are sensitive to water quality changes. This 50-foot buffer area mistake, or perhaps intentional oversight, given how often it's repeated, is repeated multiple times throughout the PennEast application for individual species. It's time for the DRBC to deny adoption of the PennEast pipeline. Thank you.
On November 21st, FERC Commissioner Richard Glick criticized FERC for its approval of a pipeline in Illinois and Missouri. He said the decision justifies criticism that the agency acts as a rubber stamp for gas projects. With FERC's own commissioners calling the agency a rubber stamp, there's no question of the need for the Delaware River Basin Commission's leadership on PennEast and on other fracked gas pipeline proposals within the watershed. The record is clear. PennEast will inflict devastating harm on the water resources of the basin. The application materials provided by PennEast DRBC are neither complete nor accurate. The proposed PennEast pipeline is no longer viable, and the state of New Jersey has already rejected the pipeline multiple times, including for reasons that cannot be remedied. It's time for DRBC to deny DOCKET to the PennEast pipeline. Thank you.